Live from the KHOU11 studios, it's Great Day Houston. And now, here's your host, Deborah Duncan.
Okay, this time of year, I'm just going to say all the single ladies, all the single ladies. Okay, in this month of love, single ladies, you may be wondering, what's the #1 thing men look for in a woman? A recent survey by Match.com just came out, and so what do you think they said? Take some guesses over here in our audience. What do you think they said was the #1 thing that men were attracted to in women? What do you think? Hold up. Eyes, hair, rear end, all right, yeah, a beautiful face, behind, legs, chest. Okay, so looks is just the whole package, right? Yeah. He's attracted to the whole thing. Okay, well, some of those answers that first come to mind, J-Lo and Kim Kardashian got it. That's a rump shaker, or an apple bottom, if you will. Or is it the Pamela Anderson, Dolly Parton thing, the Twin Peaks that we're talking about here? Okay, well, according to the survey by Match.com, they should know, right? The #1 thing that guys are apparently attracted to in a woman, at least at first, drum roll please, it's her teeth. It's her teeth. And I know you said smile, but it's her teeth. Which brings us to our Facebook question of the day. Ladies, turnabout is fair play. We want to know what is the #1 thing you're attracted to in a man. Log on and let us know. We'll share some of your comments later on in the show. Well, whether you are single or have been married forever, sometimes it's a constant guessing game trying to figure out what your partner wants and what are they saying when they aren't saying anything at all. Our first guest says they might be saying a lot. Please welcome relationship expert and best-selling author of the books Another Chance, Where Would You Be Without One, and Break Up, Don't Break Down, Dr. D'Yvonne Young.
Good morning.
Hi. All right, this time of year, I remember when I was single, if I was dating somebody, it was like, oh, I'm in love, right? Or it's like if you weren't dating anybody, it was the most miserable time of the year because everybody else was going out around you, right? Mm-hmm. So let me just start off with, do we put too much into days like this?
Yes, we do. You know, what are you asking? We do. The truth of it is that there's a commercial element to something that really should be personal.
Yeah.
And how can you externalize something that needs to be really internalized?
Yeah. And it happens in the office. There's always the girl goes, oh, I got a dozen roses. And someone else goes, I got 2 dozen. Mm-hmm. Obviously, my man loves me more. Right.
And it has nothing to do with how he feels about you. As a matter of fact, it can be very much so connected to his economic resource ability. But the truth is, if a guy went and picked out 1 rose and he got the best one he could find, doesn't that mean much more than him superficially giving you a dozen?
And he loves you all the rest of the time of the year, right?
Thank you.
Okay. Let's talk about some kind of key things that you think people should at least investigate in their own mind when they're going into relationships. For someone who's single, you say the first thing they should do is define the relationship. Because, ladies, I want you to be honest with me and raise your hand if you ever did this, okay? You have a date, first date, right? And you have put his last name with your first name just to see how it sounds. Raise your hand if you've ever done that. I'll be the first to raise my hand. You know you did. Stop it. Oh, okay. Now, there's some truth tellers over here. Okay, yeah. How many of you married that guy? None. Okay.
Thank God they didn't put them on camera today.
All right. So, you know, sometimes we just kind of put somebody into our script that we already have written, but you say define the relationship.
Yeah, definitely. Don't create a self-fulfilling prophetic nightmare. It is much better when you meet someone to just take it one day at a time. Get to know them for who they are, not whom they're representing themselves to be. And above all, make sure that they can love you for who you are not, as opposed to whom you're pretending that you are.
Wow. Okay, so at some point you do have to have a definition, and that's kind of, are we exclusive? Mm-hmm. Are we, because there's always that surprise where someone says, we've been dating for 6 months and he's dating somebody else. Mm-hmm. 2, it's like, well, did you ever discuss that? And sometimes we're scared to discuss that because we don't want to hear the answer.
The first person you need to have that conversation with is yourself. Make sure that before dating anyone that you know what you're going for. Why are you taking that approach? And more than anything, are your expectations realistic? Yeah. Have you had a chance to heal from that last fiasco you called a relationship? And better yet, if you are going to make this determination, don't let it be in your head. Externalize what you're thinking and make sure the other person agrees with you.
Yeah, and avoid vague phrases like, we're going out together, or we're going steady. I don't know if you do that past 6th grade. But,
well, that means different things to different people.
Yeah.
So your definition of we're going out versus a guy's definition typically is totally different. So make sure that your labeling has the same exact picture associated with the label.
Yeah. There's something you mentioned earlier about, knowing what you want. I had a friend several years ago who said, write down on a piece of paper the top 5 things that you must have in a mate for that to be a happy relationship for you. And so I wrote them down, and I was all proud of myself and proud of my answers. And she looked at it and she goes, as long as I've known you, you've never dated this person.
Wow.
And so it's funny because sometimes we're afraid to go for, because we think we don't deserve to have that person, and our past hurts will have us kind of dummy down things, if you will, and accept people into our life that maybe we shouldn't be around.
Well, I look at this. If you are going to be in a good relationship, it should be a value-added win-win situation. Now, that doesn't mean you're going to find someone that's perfect, because you're not going to find someone that's perfect, but they could be perfect for you.
Right. All right, let's talk about married couples. One of the biggest problems we have is communication and taking each other for granted. And I just want to know, I'm sure there's a scientific study out there somewhere that men's hearing, once you get married, something happens to it. There's like, something happens.
You are so wrong for this, right?
No, when you say, I do, they're like, what? What was that?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, what happens in marriage is that first, the person that you married, every year we evolve, so people change over time. But more than anything else, you have to know the topology of the person that you're marrying.
What does topology mean?
That means that, are you an extrovert, introvert? Are you a sensing, feeling, judging, perceiving personality? And in my practice, that's something that I make sure that I do when couples call me in crisis. The first diagnostic that I give them is a topology, so I can figure out, okay, how do you communicate? How do you think? Where do you get your perspectives from? And then, moreover, make sure that you have a common origin in terms of how you approach and view life.
Yeah, because, there are some cases where someone will present a situation and want to answer right away, but there are some people who take in all the information, have to think about it a while, and get back to you in a few days. And we take that silence as being, you're ignoring me. Yeah. But I mentioned earlier, like when your mate's not saying anything at all, that can either be they're thinking about it or you're in red zone now.
Well, 2 signs you're in a red zone. One, if you're looking more forward to leaving home than coming home, that's the first sign that you're in a red zone.
Driving around the block a few more times.
Yeah, you got it.
Yes, I admit, I had that first marriage where I drive and I see his car in the driveway. Ooh, his car's in the driveway. Surely there's a sale at Foley's or something, right? Like, okay, so yeah, you have to explore that. And you also have that moment where, before it's too late, get help.
Yes.
But sometimes we don't want the help. We know we're marching toward the end, and we're not going to stop it because we don't think it can be fixed.
Well, the worst thing is when you say he needs help or she needs help, when in fact each individual is making a contribution to that dysfunction.
Right.
Both people need an arbitrator to be able to point out to both parties, this is what you're not doing, this is what you're not doing, and the bigger question is, what are you willing to do?
Yeah. And at the end of the day, is it sometimes just that you came together at a certain time because you could fulfill each other's needs, and when you grow and become different people, you can either try to reinvent that relationship, but I find that there are times when it's not going to get any better, and it's served its purpose, if you will. I know we don't like to say that in society, that sometimes divorce is the healthiest thing to do. Well,
all relationships are going to end, either in life or death, but thank God most of them end in life. People come into your sphere for a season, for a reason, or a purpose.
Yeah.
And when that's over, let it go. It's time to move on, because long as you hold on to that which you've given yourself, you can't receive what the universe is sending your way.
Yeah. And the phrase I always like to use is, the light you put off is the moth you get. So if you want to change your moth, you got to change your light, right?
In addition to that, you're making 4 people miserable when you hang on to the wrong person. You're making you miserable, the person you're with, and the 2 people that you were destined to meet.
Ooh, okay, wow. Well, Dr. D'Avon will be back to answer your questions in just a little bit. But when we come back, how can something so natural become so complicated, bringing great joy or great sorrow? We are talking about sex. I said it, S-E-X, when we come back. So you might want to get the little ones out of the room.